Really didn't used to feel comfortable talking about it, but I got the power. So now I am very comfortable talking about it. So I had this friend back, well, really, we met about 2016, and we were friends all through that point. And was a guy, and we were pretty good friends. We would talk back and like he had some I want not tendencies, more like beliefs and thoughts that sometimes I didn't agree with them, but as a friend, um, it was like, okay, you ain't gonna agree with everything. Your friend like beliefs are like, that's how it goes. So, during the pandemic, we would have this disagreement. Actually, no, let me go back. So, first of all, we worked together. And at one point he said something, I don't want to say it was cryptic, but he was like, I wish we could like curse these white people or something crazy, because there was some issues going on at this job that I worked at. So I was like, did I hear that right? And turn enough, I believe in, spiritually and like curses and stuff like that. So when he said that, I was just like, because what you do you not know? Like what you put out, you get back, right? Was it like threefold, something like that? So, or three times. And he was just like, and I was like, whoa. But again, you know, we're friends. I wasn't on the negative end like this conversation. So I was like, cool, crazy, do you? So fast forward to 2020, and we had a disagreement because he was also, how do I put this respectfully to people? He was sort of a Pan Africanist. Yeah, no, he was a Pan Africanist and or had those tendencies. And he was really into Dr. Umar, which, okay, whatever, those are your beliefs, do you? But he was so like anti that it started to like get on my nerves, because you gotta think about it, this is during the pandemic. Like we got enough going on. I also had been diagnosed with a seizure disorder at that time. So like I am like in my own thing, and you talking about he started like sending antagonizing messages to me, or like videos. Like this one girl was talking about how she's not like you mixed bitches. I was like, I just kind of let him have it, and I was like, bro, like, no, it's that ain't it. I was like, this ain't the time for like all this division and all this crap. And I told him I'm like tired of this whole argument amongst black people, because we both wear black, about like, I'm not like you, or all this just bullshit, right? So finally, I just, like I said, I let him have it. That's when things got weird. The first time I started feeling like I was being watched, and it was a very specific feeling. Like I remember at one point I was in the shower and I had gotten out. Like I was in my bathroom and I was getting ready to take a shower. And as I'm like getting ready, I just felt like eyes on my back. And what I've always heard is if you think someone's watching you, normally they are. Like whether or not you can see them is a whole different issue. I'm sitting there and I get in the shower because I'm like, oh, maybe it's the seizure medication that they gave me. But when I went to talk to my doctor and also check up on those side effects on my own, they were like, nah, paranoia ain't one of them. I was like, okay. it kept happening. And at one point, I got like so freaked out, and I like started. This is out around the time I was like, I need to talk to my ancestors. Like, I really need to, And I like somehow got, I guess, I got my grandfather because it's a weird way to explain, but like every time um Sanford and Son would come on, that was his show. It would come on around the time that I felt uncomfortable. And so I would turn to it and feel comfort. And part of it could be like I knew this was his favorite show, and so this was like a comfort. And also, these feelings would happen around 2 and 3 a.m. Like, I would wake up out of a dead sleep and have that feeling. And I remember one night, I was like, oh, hell no. Nah. So I remember I got up and I started reciting like these mantras that I had. Like, not they weren't mine, but they were like quotes that I had read that kind of gave me like inner strength, inner power, that sort of thing. So then I actually opened the window in my room, and I remember it was raining that night when this particular occurrence happened at 3 in the morning. So open my window, and something told me go get some salt. And I did. And then I added my own little thing, my own little spin where I was like, get the fuck out. Right? That's what I said. Get the fuck out. Later on that morning, this is 3 in the morning, he calls me, or he texts me rather, and I didn't answer him. Because I was just like, dealing with you. Plus, I'm still, having my own health issues. So I'm like, I got other things to deal with. Like, I ain't dealing with you. And he was just like, how are you? Like, the text said, how are you doing? And I was just like, uh-uh. So I ignored that text. Throughout that year, he would send me happy birthdays, and I would just like, okay, thanks, whatever. Um, and all that sort of thing. Now, meanwhile, in all this, my mom is telling me, oop, my light went out. But anyways, my mom is telling me, I told you to stop talking to that man, right? And I was like, yeah, okay, I learned my lesson. So we just stopped talking. So then I remember Easter Sunday rolls around. And I remember that Easter Sunday just felt so good. Like, it was such a good feeling. It was so, like, it was just, And I remember I had on arguably one of my favorite outfits, which is it's a Nike, not Nike, it's an Adidas shirt, and like in this, it was an Adidas dress or skirt that's really meant to be worn for like ballet dancers. But I was like, no, this is gonna be streetwear. So I wore it, and we were going to my grandmother's house, and again, it was such like a good, just I can't even describe the feeling, right? We ended up, well, my cousin ended up coming with me. And he had actually texted me that day. And I was just like, okay, whatever. Because I had kind of ignored the text. Because I got to the point, I was like, I'm just not, whatever. So, plus we were watching Bridgerton. So I was like, no, I can't. My attention cannot be divided. So, anyways, we leave that night. My cousin was coming to stay with us. Now, my mom, I'm sorry if this is like blah, but my mom had this car, this Fiat, that she was going to actually give to me when my car broke down, and I was pretty excited about that. And that was actually one of the things that I had told him prior to all this, like, because he saw me drive it to work one day, and I was like, yeah, it's gonna be my car soon. So This is like, oh god, this is I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Also, it's cold out here. So, I get in the car, or we get in the car, and my cousin said, "Oh, I need to get something from my house." And so I'm like, "Okay." So it's me, my mom, and my cousin in this car. And again, it's a great feeling. Me and my cousin would go home and finish watching Bridgerton, like all the things, right? We go to our house. That's fine. She gets her stuff. And then we pull up to the in this intersection. And god damn it, if we didn't get into a car accident. This car ends up hitting us head on. And it totals out my mom's car in the end. That night, I ended up having a seizure. I was like, I got, I mean, I didn't get like physically injured, but I ended up having a seizure and it was just really bad. Later on, or not later on, but the next day, was a Monday, of course, it was Easter Sunday. And he texts me. And he's like, "Hey, how was your evening?" And I'm thinking initially, oh, this is just he's asking me how my Easter went. And I said, "Oh, it was good, but we got in an accident." And he just texts back, "Oh, okay." Not, "Are you okay?" Not, "Oh my God." Because I had told my other friend, and, his reaction was completely different. Like, he was just like, it was like, whatever, right? Ew, I see a bug. Anyways, that happens. And I showed the text to my cousin, and I had told my cousin about this guy, like months before. And she was like I said, that's the first like red flag. Like I was like, something don't, like immediately I was like, some don't feel right, with with like his reaction compared to everybody else's very human reaction of like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Did you go to the emergency room? Hey, like, how are you doing?" All of that. None of that comes from him. So I was like I said, something ain't right. Fast forward again, like, back later in the year. And I can't remember what the circumstances were, but this was like one of the first, the like second incident where I was like, I think this dude tried me. Because after that, the feelings of being watched came back. Because I think, no, I know what happened. So I kind of like let my spiritual side go by the wayside, which was an L. And I he had messaged me, so I messaged him back, right? And we were talking back and forth. Oh no, that wasn't what happened. Fast forward again, like I said, and I had told my friend about like, because we hadn't talked about what had all happened with him, and she was like, "Girl, I told you you wasn't right." I sent her. So I've told the story before. Like I sent her like, because I couldn't. What it is I couldn't write it down, so I sent it to her in a video. And then I decided, well, it was morning, so I said I'm gonna go to Starbucks. So I did. And as I'm in the Starbucks line and I send her the video, my car just flips its shit. like like the lights start blinking, the radio starts like going through the stations, and then the car shuts off. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I called my dad and I'm like, I'm stuck in the Starbucks line. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, what's going on? And so in like, I don't know what happened, but oh, the guy texts me, and I he was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Something, And I was like, "Oh, I'm at Starbucks. My car just stopped." And he was like, oh, that's messed up. And I said, yeah, it's okay. My dad's gonna come and like figure it out. So as soon as he texts me and I answered back, the car starts. So at this point, I'm a little freaked out. And I'd ordered, so I was like, I ain't gonna leave my drink. So I got my stuff and came back home because I mean we weren't far. So my dad had the car checked, and they said there was nothing wrong. There was nothing to be like there was nothing wrong. Nothing. There was no issue with the electrics in the car or anything. The battery was fine. So that's when I started to keep salt in my room. Like that's the second time I was like, oh hell no. So I started to keep salt in my room, and till this day, I keep salt in my room, and I just have like a sort of a protection thing that I do because I don't fucking trust that man. Like I don't. I deleted like after that. I deleted his number out my phone. I didn't block him because we weren't on like any social medias together, but I just like kept him at like several arms lengths or whatever because someone right with that man. And my friend said, and my mama like said what they think is that other than his like whatever he was doing, his energy was so negative that it would like permeate other people's lives. That is the time that I believe, or that a guy tried to put roots on me or a curse or whatever. I don't know what that was.